Namaste, Guruji.
Namaskaram, Mama.
Namaste, namaskaram. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Vande Guru Paramparam. Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Kirtadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastamavidvishavahavai. Om Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Klishtakarine Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Sarvalokahite Ratam Vedabja Bhaskaram Bhante Shamadhi Nilayam Munim Sahasramurte Purushottamasya Sahasranamam Savanam Prashastam Niruchyate Janma Jaradi Shantyai. Namaste, all of you once again.
Namaste, Guruji.
I'll first mute everybody. So from last week to this week, what change has taken place in the world of Vedanta? We have lost one of the foremost gurus of the parampara. So at the beginning of today's class, let us remember him, let us pray to him, and let us invoke his blessings for our spiritual pursuit. That's, the only Shraddhanjali we can offer to him at this point in time. He has become one with the totality, one with Ishvara. So with those thoughts, sentiments, let us start today's class. So in the last class, we have started seeing the Dhyana Slokas, as you all remember. And in the last class, we were seeing the second Dhyana Sloka. Bhupadau yasya nabhirviyada suranilas chandra surya ucha netre karnavasha shirodhyaur mukhamapi dahano yasya vasteyam abdihi antastam yasya vishwam suranarakhagago bhogi gandharva daityaihi chitram ram ramyate tam tribhuvana vapusham Vishnu misham namami. So this was the sloka, dhyana sloka, which we were seeing in the last class. So as I was explaining to you, these dhyana slokas start from Ekarupa Dhyana, which is Chiro Dharma Pradeshe, which we saw. And now we have come to Vishwarupa Dhyana. Visualizing the Lord, Ishvara, as everything in this entire cosmos, entire universe. Vishwarupa Dhyana. The Vishnu Sahasranamam, the 1,000 names of Vishnu Sahasranamam start with this Vishwam. Vishwam, Vishnur, Vashakaro. That Vishwam is the first nama which starts. So that itself indicates that this entire Vishwam literally means the world, the universe. The whole thing is Paramatma only. The whole thing is Ishvara only. So that Ishvara at the macrocosm level we invoke in this second shloka. And we saw that the description Bhupadav Yasya, whose feet is the earth, Bhu. Then the head is the heaven, right? So all that we saw. And when we closed, we were seeing Yasya Vasteyam Abdihi. So Vasteyam means the urinary bladder, right? Which is where all the waste matter collect, the liquid waste matter in our body. And Abdihi means the ocean. So the oceans are to be visualized as the urinary bladder of that macrocosm, that Ishvara who is Vishwara. Vishwarupa Ishvara. So that is the one more description of the Vishwarupa of Ishvara. Where every part, because if Ishvara is Vishwam, this entire cosmos, then what are his eyes, what are his, which are his legs, all these questions will come naturally. We human beings are experts in questioning that. So we will have all these questions, even if we don't ask it openly, it will be there in our mind. So this sloka addresses all those questions. Some are explained, others we will have to imagine. That's all. Okay. Then Yasya Antastam Vishwam Sura Nara Khaga Go Bogi Gandharva Daityaihi. Antastam, as I told you in the last class, inside the body. So in whose inside the whole cosmos is situated? Yasya Antastam Vishwam. So Vishwam Yasya Antastam. The cosmos which is inside that Ishvara. Okay. So see the beauty. First we see the cosmos as Ishvara or Bhagavan. Then we see what? The cosmos inside the Bhagavan. That is the beauty. So inside, outside, everything, there is only Bhagavan, only Ishvara. And I gave you a small story also of Lord Krishna's from Bhagavata Purana. When he opens his mouth, Yashoda sees the whole prapancha in his mouth, and then she realized that this Krishna is an avatar. He is not an ordinary child. In fact, in Vinayaka Puranam also, those who must have come across, it's one of the very rarely mentioned Puranam, but Swami Omkarananda mentions this in his talks. In Vinayaka Puranam also, there is an incident where it is asked, what is there inside the pot belly of Vinayaka? The question is raised. And it is answered saying that there are 108 andams inside the pot belly of Vinayaka. Okay. One andam consists of 14 lokas, 7 up, 7 down. Okay. Bhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, and Satya. 7 up lokas. Then 7 down lokas, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala. 7 below lokas. So these 14 lokas put together is called one andam. Now in that Purana it is said that 108 such andams are there in the stomach, pot belly of Vinayaka. Okay. So imagine, for us to imagine even 14 lokas itself is a very big challenge. How to imagine 108 andams, right? So beyond a particular stage, even our imagination fails us. Our imagination cannot go beyond a particular stage. Whereas Shastras take us, and the whole idea is what? We need to go on constantly expanding our mind. That is the purpose. The idea is not to entertain us, 108 andams and all. Stretch your imagination to 108 andams. So again, this is an indicative or symbolizing that the entire prapancham, not only these 14 lokas, 108 such lokas are inside Ishvara. So this is another, example from our Shastras. We can understand. Okay. So yasya antastam vishwam bhavati, whose insides are this entire cosmos. And what type of Vishwam? That Vishwam is now described. Sura. Sura means consisting of Devas. Nara, human beings. Khaga, birds. Go. Go literally means cow, but it stands for animals. All animals we can take. Four-legged animals, go, we can take. Okay. It's only indicative word. Then bogi. Bogi means reptiles, the one which go on the land. Gandharva, celestial beings, all those Gandharvas, what we call getting the name. Anyhow, is the celestial beings rather. And Daityahi. Daityahi means Rakshasas, Asuras and Rakshasas, demons. They are also a part and parcel of this entire universe, isn't it? I think in one of the classes I explained about what is the difference between Asura and Rakshasa. So whether it's Asura, Rakshasa, all of them are all part and parcel of universe and are all part and parcel of that Ishvara's, various forms and forms only. And Ishvara's various functions. Okay, but they are also important, and we experience their powers all the time. Right now, we are experiencing the huge power of those, these kind of Rakshasas or Asuras or whatever you can call. We are experiencing that power. We are helpless sometimes before their power. And this is only, we are just at the beginning of the Kali Yuga. Because if you observe in every yuga, it starts very nicely, but as the yuga progresses, these evil forces, these adharmic forces gain ground. They become more and more prominent and they start ruling the world. And when it goes beyond a certain level, certain tolerance level, what happens? Sambhavami yuge yuge. Ishvara has to intervene in the form of an avatara and then put an end to all these adharmic forces. It happened in Dwapara Yuga, it happened in Treta Yuga, and it will happen in Kali Yuga also. And we are only in the Prathama Pada of the Kali Yuga. 432,000 years is the total life of Kali Yuga. And we have just finished about 5,000 odd years. So in this 5,000 odd years itself, we are seeing so much adharma in this entire world. Just to imagine, 4,27,000 odd years or 26,000 odd years still has to go for Kali Yuga. In what exponential way this adharma is going to increase? Bhagavata Purana clearly sets out all the development that are going to take place in this Kali Yuga. We need not get scared about it, even though some of the descriptions are very, very scary. So what we should do, if we want to escape all that is going to happen, we must strive not to be born again. Because whether we remember our past birth or we don't remember our past birth, when we have this birth and then we are suffering all these effects of this corona and COVID and all that, we feel that how to escape from this. And every birth, this is going to happen. As the Kali Yuga progresses, and as we keep taking births, being born again and again and again in this Kali Yuga, I'm sure that in the next 4,26,000 years, we may be taking so many innumerable births. And in each birth, the situation is going to be worse than what we have experienced in the previous births. So what will happen? We will continue to suffer. We will continue to have all these problems in probably in larger measure. So the best solution is what? To escape from all these. Vedanta, moksha marga, right? So that is the hidden messages in all these things, rather, ultimately. Okay. So these suras, suras mean devatas, asuras means non-devatas, means good powers and evil powers. So all these two groups always subsist, and they can also be seen as good thoughts in our mind and bad thoughts in our mind. So these good powers, bad powers need not be only external, it is internal also. Within us also, the sura and asura are always there. We are embodiment of suras and asuras. Where no human being is totally bad, no human being is totally good. Isn't it? We are a mixture of sura and asura qualities. Right? And these are necessary for the entire world to function. And that is why, right from Ramayana till this TV, serials, movies and all, we see both type of characters. That's the reality. And they try to project that reality. Of course, they are exaggerated way they project. But that's the reality. Good powers, bad powers always will be there. Suras and asuras will always be there. So, Sura Nara Khaga Go Gogi Gandharva Daityahi Yasya Antastam Vishwam Chitram Ram Ramyate. Chitram means, one of the meanings of Chitram is strange. The word Vichitram has come from that Chitram, that meaning. We say, it is Vichitra. So the Chitram means strange in this context. Ram Ramyate. So this whole Vishwam, it's like you can't even imagine what all things are there, what all types of things are there. It looks very strange, rather, but it is very pleasing. Ramyate. You all enjoy everything that is there. Ram Ramyate. Ramyate itself means pleasing. Ram Ramyate means extraordinarily pleasing, rather. It is that Ram is added to give that, what we can say, emphasis, more emphasis. Extremely pleasing. And in general, if you remove all these corona issues, and in general, do we all not enjoy what is nature, what is prapancha? How much joy and entertainment is there in this whole prapancha if you start looking at it? As I was telling you, right in the morning, you get up at 4:30, go out to a park. The beautiful sounds of the birds, chirping of the bird, different kinds of birds, so musical and so invigorating it is. And then you see the sunrise, those beautiful colors of the sun. If you are in a sort of, in a coastal area and all that, or even in a mountainous area. Of course, we all live in cities where we are not able to see the beauty of the sunrise, rather, because it's all covered by buildings and all that. Only when the sun comes at the top, we are able to see the sun. But see and of course, there are, hill stations and all, where people go to see the sunrise. All over the world, not only in India, everywhere. Sunrise is such a beautiful thing, entertaining thing. And that beauty lasts for a few moments. That's that. You have to catch that beauty at that time. Sunset for that matter. If you are in a cruise or something like that in the ocean, high seas, you witness the sunset from that, such a beauty. Very, as if the sun is slowly drowning into the ocean rather. And then while doing so, all those hues and colors are all come out. Such a beautiful scene. Flowers, how many flowers are there? So the beauty of this entire Vishwam, we keep on enjoying. It is so pleasing. That's why Ram Ramyate, extremely pleasing. Right? So the message is that we must learn to actually appreciate all the good things and all the not so good things in this world. Everything plays a role in this entire order of Ishvara. That's very, very important that for us to understand. And whenever we experience anything, we must experience it as Bhagavan only. Because everything, the creator is Bhagavan. And every creation has the aspects of Bhagavan only. All gunas of that Bhagavan, that combination of Brahman and Maya only is there. So that is our attitude. Once we start looking at this, all raga dveshas, likes and dislikes, especially extreme likes and dislikes, will start slowly diluting. Because we are not disliking anything, we are not extremely liking anything also. We see everything good, bad on the same platform, the same level. As all in, manifestation of that Bhagavan Ishvara. And that is how we spiritually start maturing. Okay. So these varieties in the cosmos, amazing. And what are those varieties represent? Vishnu. Tam Vishnum Namami. That Vishnu who is manifesting as this endless variety of this cosmos. That Vishnu, my salutations. So this is the Vishwarupa Vishnu. Vishnu who is Isham. Vishnu Isham Namami. Isham is Ishvara, the Lord of everything. So to that Vishnu, my salutations. So up to this shloka says, I salute that Lord Vishnu, who is in the form of these three words, Bhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. We saw that. The one for whom the earth is the feet, the sky is the navel, and Vayu is the breath, sun and moon are the eyes, two eyes, the directions are the ears, heaven is the head, fire is the mouth, ocean is the bladder, and the entire variegated universe consisting of devas, human beings, birds, animals, reptiles, celestials, demons, all of them is present within him. To that Lord Vasudeva, my salutations. This is the meaning so far. So in order to understand that this entire universe is his manifestation and that he is all pervasive, he is pictured here as having all the three worlds, the earth, heaven, and in between his body, everything, as Vishnu manifesting into these things. So obviously, the earth will be the lowest part, his feet, and the heaven is the topmost part, his head and top. So this is the meaning of this verse. After this, there is in the tradition, we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That is a chant that is chanted, usually recited after this shloka. And this mantra is called a Dwadashakshari mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. In fact, this is a good mantra for meditation also. Om Namo Narayana is what? It is a Ashtakshari mantra, 8 syllables. This is 12 syllables. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So again, when you are actually during the dhyana slokas, and you are actually absorbed in that meditative state of visualizing the Ekarupa, Vishwarupa of Mahavishnu, you invoke that Vishnu, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So that thought continues in your mind. And it is with such absorption, if you chant Vishnu Sahasranamam, do Parayanam or Puja or anything, it will give its own effect, it will give its own results. Otherwise, thinking so many other things in your mind, you just mechanically do all this, chant all these things, and then ask a question. I have been chanting Vishnu Sahasranamam for the past 25 years, but nothing good has happened to me. If you ask that question, how can anything good will happen to you? The whole thing is about bringing your whole mind into a dhyanam state and then appreciating the 1,000 names of Bhagavan, the 1,000 manifestations of Bhagavan. Not only 1,000, the countless manifestations, out of which 1,000 we are going to see. If you are driving and then listening to Vishnu Sahasranama or even chanting Vishnu Sahasranama, how can you expect any result to come out of that? So whenever we are doing any of these sadhanas, it has to be done with total commitment, sincerity. Then only it will be useful. Then only it will give it whatever promised results are there. You can't just do anything and then look at the results and say, this is promised, I have not got it. It doesn't make any sense at all, isn't it? So we will see the next sloka. Shant Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Patmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Bidhyana Gamyam Vishnum Vande Vishnum Bhavavayaharam Sarvalokaikanaatam. There is some part of Veda in some texts, instead of Yogi Bhirdhyana Gamyam, it is Yogi Hrid Dhyana Gamyam. Meaning wise, more or less same, only no big change in the difference in the meaning. But some texts are a little different. So these two versions are there. So again here, the main sentence is Vishnum Vande. My salutations to Vishnu. Earlier it was said Vishnum Isham Namami. Here Vishnum Vande. That's all. In essence, both are same. Okay. What type of Vishnu? Shantakaram Vishnu. Bhujagashayanam Vishnu. Patmanabham Vishnu. Suresham Vishnu. Vishwadharam Vishnu. Gagana Sadrisham Vishnu. Meghavarnam Vishnu. Shubhangam Vishnu. Lakshmikantam Vishnu. Kamala Nayanam Vishnu. Yogi Hridya Dhyana Gamyam Vishnu. Bhava Bhaya Haram Vishnu. Sarva Lokaika Natham Vishnu Vande. This is how we have to understand. Every word is a heavily packed word. Description of that Vishnu. In fact, if the whole Dhyana Sloka, if you do it the way it is to be done, it straight away transports you to the Vishnu Sahasranamam. You are already doing a mini Sahasranamam here, chanting the different names which are exhibiting the different glories of that Mahavishnu. So this is a very Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam, beautiful description. Again, after seeing the Vishwarupa visualization, we are back to Ekarupa visualization. So you'll see the meaning. Shantakaram. Shanta akaram. Akaram means rupa, basically the form. Okay. And it includes the face also. So Shantakaram means what? Peaceful. Shanta means peaceful, total peace. The form of Vishnu is total peace embodiment. Embodied. What's it? Peace embodied. Total peace. Face itself reflects total peace. A small smile. In fact, these priests who do pujas in the temples and all that, there is a special course which they have to undergo for doing these pujas and all, because they should know the procedure for doing the pujas. And while they are taught that, whichever deity they are going to do puja, the focus is mainly on the dhyana slokas. They are taught dhyana slokas totally, so that when they are doing that puja, they should not do that perfunctorily. They should do with total devotion. So these dhyana slokas are then some of these devatas have got so many dhyana slokas in the Shastra. Here we are only seeing 6 or 7. But if you go through Puranas and all that, you will get some hundreds of dhyana slokas, and they are taught all of them. So they are supposed to, invoke that Lord, whether it is Lord Dakshinamurti or Mahavishnu or, Tirupati Venkatachalapati or even Lord Muruga. These dhyana slokas are very important for those people to invoke before they do the puja. And these dhyana slokas are very important for another set of people. Now, who are they? The sculptors who actually make the idols of all these murtis of these devatas. Because they have to visual when they are sculpting. For example, Vishnu's form they are sculpting. Mahavishnu's idol they are sculpting. On what basis they will sculpt? They should have some idea that Mahavishnu, this is the way Mahavishnu should look. So these dhyana slokas are very helpful for them. They have to keep the dhyana sloka in the mind when they are doing the sculpting. So when you say Shantakaram, that peaceful form, total peace, the sculptor has to bring in that sculpture, in that idol. So he also needs to internalize these dhyana slokas. So this is all the side information rather. But the importance of dhyana slokas we must understand. It is not just dhyana sloka, Shantakaram, Putkasayinam, Patpunam, Jaresham, Vishwakaram. That's not to be done like that. When you are doing, close your eyes. Dhyana means what? Meditation. Go into a meditative state and then do the dhyana. Whichever idol you are doing, puja or parayana, go into that dhyana. Rudram, Lagunyasa starts with that. Visualizing Lord Shiva, the Rudra form of Lord Shiva. And then you get absorbed in that. Once you get absorbed in that, then automatically the chanting of Rudram, Chamakam and all will flow like a river flowing. But that is very important. This dhyana slokas. Okay. So Shantakaram means embodiment of peace. Right? And when we visualize a form which is total embodiment of peace, what happens? We also go into a very peaceful mode. Our mind also becomes very peaceful. Because our mind reacts to all that we actually either experience through our sense organs, or when we visualize. When we hear some beautiful music, the music which we like, does not our mind go into a peaceful mode? In fact, when we are listening to that music, if there is some sound being made by somebody else, we get irritated because the mind doesn't want any disturbance. He'll tell the people, like, keep quiet. I am listening. My mind is peaceful. Don't disturb the peace of my mind. Similarly, even touch. When we are sick, running temperature. Let us be any age, running temperature. Lying down in the bed, feeling very miserable. Somebody comes and actually puts the hand on our head and does like this. Right? Suddenly the mind becomes peaceful and very comfortable. So whenever we experience or visualize anything that gives us peace, we become peaceful. So all these dhyana slokas, when we say Shantakaram, when we say, our mind immediately, whatever agitation is there, it goes away, and our mind, and we should, of course, understand what we are saying. No, Shanta is not in the name of the neighboring lady. Shantakaram looks like the neighboring lady Shanta. That is not the meaning. If you think of that, then that lady will come. And all the fights that she has with her husband will come to your mind. Just joking. So, Shantakaram means that peace, embodiment of peace. When you think of that Vishnu, you become peaceful. And that is the starting point of our entire this thing. All pujas, parayanams, everything, prayers, unless your mind is at peace, the prayer will not have any effect. Agitated mind cannot pray. It's only a peaceful mind which can pray. So peace is the first precondition for any prayer. Okay. Then Bhujaga Shayanam. Shayanam means sleeping. Lying down, sleeping. Bhujaga means snake. Okay. So we can here take it as, Adishesha, the five-hooded snake, on which Lord Vishnu is lying down in Ananta Shayanam pose. We have seen that in a lot of, images and all that, including Lord Padmanabha Swami in Trivandrum, the temple, he is in Ananta Shayanam pose. So many other temples also, Ananta Shayanam pose with the snake. So another description, he is the only Lord who is depicted like that, Mahavishnu. Ananta Shayanam pose with Adisesha, the snake, guarding his head. And as per our scriptures, there is a symbolic representation, symbolic meaning to this pose also. The 5 hoods of the snake represents the 5 sense organs. And the snakes are, flicking their tongues. Right? What does that represent? That represents the constant, activity of the sense organs to go on looking for sense objects, for sense pleasures. For a snake, it is said that they actually do that. Real snakes, I'm talking about, when we see in the jungles and all, they actually keep flicking their tongues because the tongue picks up the smell of any prey which is around. The odors which are present, it picks up through the minuscule, moisture particles which are there in the atmosphere. It can pick up and it can spot the prey. And that is why it is like an antenna which keeps on doing, all snakes like that, it keep on doing that. That is to sense. Similarly, here our sense organs also are doing exactly the same thing. Always on the lookout for some sense objects to give us sense pleasures. I've seen so many people. Let it be a bhajan or a satsang, anything. They will be, years will be listening to this Mahatma who is speaking, but eyes will be roaming around. Is there anybody known to me who is here? Is there anybody who is handsome whom I can look at once again? They will be roaming around. Just like, looking for sense objects, for some sense pleasures. So this is what is the symbolism, that these 5 snakes are 5 sense organs, which are always on the look for sense objects. And the snake's body is compared to a mind. Because ultimately the sense organs are what? They are all connected to the mind only. Isn't it? So what happens is, when the sense organs are actually bringing all the inputs from the outside, they go and dump it in the mind. The mind gets all that inputs through the sense organs, and the mind becomes chanchalam. That is how the problem happens in our mind, becomes disturbed. It wants to pursue each of that. There's so many sense objects are there. Mind feels, oh my God, so much is there. I need to go behind this, go behind this, go behind this. Right from the morning we wake up till night we sleep. That is exactly what we keep on doing. Going behind so many things, allowing our mind like a stray dog, going here, there, and all that, looking for something, some pleasure, whether it is pleasure we derive out of eating, whether it's pleasure we derive out of seeing some serial or movie in the TV or something like that, or it is a pleasure. Some people have got a very sadistic pleasure of fighting with the spouse also. That is also a sense pleasure they derive. Nothing will be there. They will say something which will actually, a fight will erupt, and they will get some pleasure out of it. So this is what we do the whole day. And the mind is always agitated because of all these things. So what is the symbolism? Bhagavan Vishnu has coiled that mind, that body of the snake, and he is lying down there in this Ananta Shayanam, so that that mind cannot move. His body, whole weight is bearing upon that mind. Ishvara's weight is bearing on the mind, and the mind cannot go into all this chanchalam mode. It will be completely quietened. Even though the sense organs are doing all this tongue flicking, the mind will not respond to that quest of the sense organs. What does it mean? That whole Ananta Shayanam pose, if you actually visualize, bring the Ishvara into your mind. How do you actually manage your mind, keep your mind under your control? Only way, Ananta Shayanam, bring Ishvara into your mind, make Ishvara lie down. Let the weight of Ishvara completely subdue your mind. Then what? Mind will be quiet. It will become Shantakara. So this much we can actually derive, extract out of a simple word called Bhujagashayana. So whenever we are reading the Shastra or anything for that matter, these words are not, just mere words, not pada padartha business. They have got so much symbolic meanings, which if we start understanding, as Pujya Swamiji says, it will help us to bring more and more Ishvara into our mind. And that is the only way for success in our spiritual path. Let there be no two opinions about it. If we go on bringing more and more Ishvara, replacing all unnecessary things in our mind, in our intellect, with the thought of Ishvara, with the glories of Ishvara, then automatically all those rubbish will be thrown out. All rubbish caused by all this jealousy, anger, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, acharya, all the rubbish which is occupying the mind space, the intellect space, replace them with the glories of Ishvara, thoughts of Ishvara. If we approach Vishnu Sahasranamam Parayanam with this kind of a conviction, this kind of an approach, then it will give us the benefit which we are looking for. Chitta Shuddhi is what ultimately is the benefit we are looking for. Because the Chitta Shuddhi which is going to deliver us unto the moksha stage, Jnana Marga. So the whole thing is about cleaning up your chittam, cleaning up your internal antakaranam. So that is how we have to understand each of these namas, each of these words. Okay. So that is what is the comparison. This is all done. This comparison is there in some commentary. I don't even remember the name, but Swami Omkarananda speaks about it. So for me, Swami Omkarananda is the source for this explanation. Of course, I have actually expanded it a little more from my side after having understood what exactly Swamiji wanted to say. Okay. So that is the only way to become Shantakaram, bring more and more Ishvara, so that the sense organs, the mind, etc. will be subdued. They will be, what I can say, controlled under the weight of Ishvara and his glories. And they will not be able to flick their tongue around as they wish. Okay. This is, in fact, this imagery has got a lot of philosophical explanation. There is another explanation which is also given, that this entire prapancham is itself is like Bhagavan, the whole cosmos, right? And the Bhagavan is pervading this entire Bhujangam. Bhujangam means, when you say Bhujangam is the whole cosmos and Vishnu is lying down on the cosmos, it is giving a philosophical explanation of all pervasiveness of that Vishnu. So this is another philosophical explanation you can take. It indicates the Sarvabhyapitva of Vishnu. Then Padmanabham. Padmanabham, Nabhi means the navel, right? We have got, where we got the umbilical cord is cut at the time of birth. Padma means a lotus flower. So Padmanabham means the one who has got a lotus flower in his navel. And we have seen this image in temples, and in fact that Anantashayanam pose itself, there will be a lotus coming out of his navel, and on that lotus will be Brahmaji sitting on that lotus. So we have seen all this in the Anantashayanam pose, right? So this is the one who has got another description of Lord Vishnu. Again, if symbolically we can look at it, that lotus is one of the most beautiful flowers. It represents all the beauty of this world. And that is why, even here also, we will see Kamala Nayanam and all that, because for anybody, the beauty is always associated with the shape of the eyes. Whether it is a female or a male. The shape of the eyes, some people have got very beautiful eyes. So that's why even when we are actually describing Lord Vishnu or even Krishna and all that, comparison of the shape of the eyes to lotus or a lotus leaf is very common. So from that point of view, we can say that from that beautiful, on that beautiful flower, lotus flower is sitting Brahmaji. And Brahmaji represents all the knowledge, the whole Vedas, all four Vedas. So again, the symbolism that Vishnu is the creator from whom this entire Vedas have come. And they are beautiful in their nature. So we can just drive our imagination to all these types of visualizations. Okay. Then Suresham. Suresham means Suranam Isham. Suresham. Suranam Isha Suresha Tam Suresham. Correct Sanskrit derivation. Okay. So Sura, as we have seen, means Devas. So he is the Lord of Devas. He is Isha, Ishvara of Devas. Okay. He is a Devadi Deva. We have seen that earlier also in the before we did the Nyasam Slokas. Devadi Deva, right? And he is Vishwadharam, Vishwa Adharam. Adharam means what? The Adhishtanam, the one which sustains this entire Vishwa, this entire cosmos. The foundation of this entire cosmos, universe. Founding principle of this Vishwa. You must understand it is not something, foundation means not some made of some cement and all that. Vishwa, this is the founding principle of this entire. He is the Karanam, Jagat Karanam. Founding principle of this Vishwa. So Vishwakara. There is another reading also, Vishwakaram. Means Akaram we have seen is the shape. So who is in the form of this entire Vishwam, entire universe? That meaning also we can take here also. Vishwakaram is there's a reading. Vishwadharam is a reading. Vishwakaram is a reading. But normally what happens is, since the Akara is already spoken about in the right in the beginning, which is Shantakaram. What normally people do that Akaram we need not repeat it, so we say Adharam we take. Vishwadharam, Vishwakaram. It doesn't make any difference to the meter of the shloka. Okay, so Vishwadharam, Vishwakaram, either way you can take. Vishwakaram, if we understand, he is in the form of this entire cosmos, entire universe. Because why? He is the Karanam, Jagat is the Karyam, and Karyam always has all the aspects of the Karanam in it. So you can say that as Jagat Karanam, he is in the form of this entire Jagat, Vishwa. Okay. Then Gagana Sadrisham. Sadrisham means similar to, like, Sadrisham, right? Gagana means space. So he is this Vishnu. If at all we need to understand what this Vishnu is about, the nearest comparison we can make is space. Because Vishnu does not have any form, formless. Nearest space also is formless, but space, unlike Vishnu, is experienceable. We can see space, we can actually experience space, whereas Vishnu we cannot experience. Otherwise, space has got all other attributes which Vishnu, or from our understanding, it is Brahman we are talking about. Sarva Vyapitvam. All pervasiveness. Space is all pervasive. Like Vishnu. Space is totally unattached. Asangaha. Like Vishnu. Like Brahman. Nothing can taint space. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, it cannot taint space. It is untainted rather. So like that, there are comparisons in the Shastras between the qualities of the space and the aspects of Brahman, and we come to the only conclusion that the only difference between Vishnu or Brahman and space is that space is a karyam. It is an element which has been created by Bhagavan, whereas Bhagavan is the creator. This is the only difference. Otherwise, there are many aspects of space which is, in fact, space is worshipped as Bhagavan only. Where Chidambaram temple in Tamil Nadu. In fact, they say Chidambara Rahasyam Chidambara, secret of Chidambara. You know what is the secret? That you go to a sanctum sanctorum and you don't see any idol there. Then what are you worshipping? The space there is being worshipped. So in the form of space, Lord Ishvara is worshipped in Chidambaram, and that is what is called Chidambara Rahasya. When you go to Chidambaram only, you will realize that. So space is the first element which was created in this entire prapancha. It being the first element, it is the nearest to Bhagavan, the creator. So that is why Gagana Sadrisham means like space. If you want to understand what Vishnu is, understand what the space and its qualities, attributes are, you will be able to visualize that Vishnu. Otherwise, impossible to visualize, because none of us can experience that Vishnu. Then Megha Varnam. Megham means clouds. Varnam means color, right? So Megha Varnam describes the complexion of the Lord as being dark in color. This description comes again also in the next few Dhyana slokas. So he is dark complexion like the clouds. And this which we can see also in the photos and all that, you know, he is always Vishnu or Krishna or any avatar, Rama, all avatars are dark complexioned only in the photos and all that. And for us, of course, Rama and Krishna are the most immediate avatars whose photos are available everywhere. Idols and photos and all that, right? So all are depicted as dark complexioned deities. So Megha Varnam. Then Shubhangam. Angam means what? The limbs or part of the body. Shubha can be taken to mean auspiciousness, or we can also take the meaning of Shubha as proportionate. So both meaning we can take, they will fit the description of Shubhangam. So the Lord has got all the limbs, his entire body is very auspicious, or we can say everything is purely proportionate. The Shilpakaras, I told you, the sculptors, for them, this Shubhangam is a very important parameter for making the Shilpa. They have to make sure that the leg, the hand, everything face proper proportion, so that when you look at that figure, that auspiciousness is radiated from that figure. And that's why we want to go to the temples and look at that figure of Lord again and again and again. We never ever get tired of that, isn't it? Those, devotees I'm talking about. People actually, they either in Guruvayur or in Tirupati and all, you are not allowed to stand there for more than 5 seconds or 10 seconds in front of the Lord. Such is the rush. But just because there is rush, will you ever avoid going there and trying to have a glimpse of that Lord? You never will. You take all the trouble to go to the Tirupati or Guruvayur or whichever temple that you are going to. Spend hours standing in the queue for what? Just that glimpse of that Lord. And that glimpse gives us so much of peace, auspiciousness, as if we have seen the Lord. Even though it's only a stone idol, for us, it is as if we have seen the Lord himself. We are in the presence of the King, the Lord of the universe. That is the bhavana in our minds. So that is the auspiciousness. Anything auspicious gives us peace and joy. So from that, we can also gain, when we say that, Shubhangam, we can say a proportionate, that it is the proportion of that entire structure which gives us that feeling. So this is another one, Shubhangam. So he has very handsome, divine, auspicious limbs the Lord has got. Okay. Then I think it's almost a type. Lakshmi Kantam, I will take in the next class. I will explain the next class. Okay, I'll say the prayers and then questions we can, if there is anything, we can take. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Namaste, Guruji.
Thank you, Mama. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram, Guruji.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari
Om, Guruji.
Any questions on
Hari
that?
Om, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you very much. Very nice, interesting.
Hari
Thank
Om.
you.
Thank you. Okay, we will then see in the next class. Okay, Hari Om. Thank you.